Hi everyone, it's Tracey here from Art Fiber Stitch. Okay, I'm looking at this. It always starts somewhere, some bit of incentive. And that's what I'm using. Just a scrap. So I've got that. I could use something much nicer, but I've just got this little piece here of calico. That'll do me. I'll pop that on top. Now there is a right side and a wrong side. You have to look for that. I'm just going to pop it there. I've got these other things out that are plain. There's a bit of material. It's a lace. No. But that's okay. Then I might do something on the top. This can be like the background. No, I did have others. You know, I could pop that one there if I wanted. So look if it's under part of that. Now I'm wanting to add in some sort of depth, some sort of colour, which I'll mainly do with stitch, I think. But let's add a little bit of material. Let's think about putting some underneath or on top. Does it show up? Well, it does. So I think we could use something like that. But maybe I would prefer it as part of this flower. Let's have this flower stand out more. I'm going to cut out some little petal kind of shapes. It might not cover the whole of it, but you know, it's shading. It's a start of colour underneath. And I'm going to use a glue stick, and I'm going to just put a dab on and just hold it there whilst I'm getting sorted. I'm putting it on the underside of this. And I'll keep doing that a little bit, and I can always trim them if it's too much, or you know, pull it off or whatever. But I'm going to add some of these partial shapes in, partial petals, and see, just see what it looks like. So like I said, on the wrong side, and then we'll turn it over. See what we have. See, I'm just going to trim there around it so that it stays within that petal shape where I wanted it. That's fine. I even decide I can use that little tiny bit. Why not? So that already makes that stand out a little bit better, doesn't it? I'm going to grab a different material now. This was a patchwork cotton, and I'm thinking I'll add some bits on the top, I think, with it. So that's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to cut out some more shapes just like I did and glue them on, just a dab of glue, just as tacking, you know, to hold it there before we stitch. So I'll find some shapes, I'll cut and trim to get them the way I want them. It's lucky we have that that picture of the flower there, and we're just following it, aren't we, really? So it's almost like colouring in, isn't it? So I'll continue here, just adding a little bit, not a lot, you know, but I think it's adding depth, it's adding colour, it's adding interest, because we had started off with everything in the one colour, all very neutral. But now we'll add some stitch. Look at these threads that I'm bringing out. I may use them, I may not, but I like to have a little bit of a selection there. And I like a variegated thread, as you know, because that can add loads of colours in one thread. Alright, I'm just going to take a couple of strands, or one strand if it's thicker, and I'm going to start doing some ordinary running stitch. I'll do a knot at one end, thread the needle with the other, and come up from underneath and just do these little stitches. They don't have to be tidy. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I hold down those shapes, just add that little bit extra to hold it down. We've got the glue, but that won't last forever. And So that's the first stage, is that I'll go through that and make sure that I have tacked all of those down. Let's not forget the ones that are underneath. And I'm just doing a nice stitch right up the center of that there, in that shape that's already embossed on that flower, and travel on underneath to the next bit that needs stitching down. I'm only going to use running stitch because it's very simple and it's very effective. You can use thicker or thinner threads, and it really does make a big difference. When I've finished with the length of the thread, I'll take it through to the back, do a couple of stitches on top of each other, and that will be enough to knot it off, anchor it, make sure that that thread does not come undone. Here we go. That's it. Trim the thread and we're ready to roll. I think now I'm just going to trim off some of this excess. I don't need it all. And here too. Right, that's tidied that up. Let's start some stitching. I'm going to start with a really nice, darker, dusky kind of pink. Now I'll knot it after I've threaded my needle, come up from underneath, and we're just going to follow the design that's already there. Sometimes we'll go inside, sometimes we'll go outside of the lines that are already there. Sometimes we'll put a little bit of shading down at the bottom. We'll speed this up a little bit here, but I just wanted to show you how I'm going around these petal shapes. I'll make sure that they stay down, but I'll also be doing some other stitching. You can see here I've just gone around that shape of that petal, and that's helped it to stand out that little bit better. A few single or two stitches, so just random there at the bottom of the petals, just adds that little bit of shading there. Now, as you can see, some of our stitches are holding down our pieces. Sometimes we've done a stitch just to make sure that one underneath is held down. And then we've added in these little dark stitches radiating out from the center of our flower. But we have these lines that we can follow. We can go in them, inside them, outside them, whatever. You could really build it up if you wanted with different shades. But it's good, isn't it? I think so. I still like this. Let's have a look. Let's just see if I've got one here. Okay. Now, doesn't that look nice? So something like that. Design. Think about it. Think about what size it's going to be when it's finished. So I've made this plenty big if I didn't want it. But I think I quite like a little strip of that. And see, this is right on the edge. I couldn't help it because that's the scrap that I had. But I don't need to have it all. As long as I've got space at the top to put it under, then that's good to go. And I'll just decide where I want this and stitch it down. So I am going to use this piece, and I have decided that I'm going to just do crosses. My needle's just come off here. Just do crosses there to hold it. You can be a lot tidier. There we go. Okay. I kind of prefer things to not be so uniform, so I don't mind. That'll hold that piece on, you see. Okay, let's have a look. It's interesting. Plenty of texture, little bit of colour, mainly neutral. It's easy to do something simple with just a couple of scraps, a tiny bit of easy stitching, and you've got yourself a nice piece of fabric art for your wall. So I hope that you have enjoyed this and you've picked something up from it. If you have, don't forget to press like, subscribe, tell me what you think in the comments, and I'll see you next time for something different. Thank you again for watching.